Welcome back to the most professional StarCraft 2 with the most entertaining Terran player in the red in the top right, the Admiral. It is GuMiho. But up against the player ranked #1 in the world by Dark, we have, already with Zerglings, the final boss. It's Dark, a best of 5 Zerg versus Terran showdown. And Dark, as always, looking to start things off hard and fast, just like I do with begging you to like and subscribe. And Jimmy, what are we? 1,281 likes on this series, on this finals, on this cast. And I'll cast another one. And I'll probably do it anyways. But thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you've had a good day so far. And hopefully it's about to get just a little bit better as an Overlord goes down, but the Zerglings close in. GuMiho went for Marines first and may be regretting that decision as Dark hunts them down and mauls them to pieces. Though losing that first Overlord going to make things a little more difficult when it comes to the Rochadland follow-up. Yes, GuMiho going for not a kind of a one-rax expand. Not really walling off the front. There's an SCV getting involved. That one Hellion going to make a significant difference, at least against the Zerglings. The problem is, without a Reaper and without an SCV scout, just a single Hellion scout up against the Roaches, which are on their way across. A single Roach, not that scary. 2 Roaches, a little more so. 3+, and now you got a problem. As both these players, and this is not yet on the new patch. I believe this will be the last series of the good old days. By the way, as the new patch impending, you can check out my video on that. But the good old Cyclones here, the ones we're used to seeing in pretty much every matchup, will make a cameo appearance. He's going to try to take down the SCV, which is softened up by the Zergling. Actually delays it. Is there another SCV anywhere nearby? Banshee on the way. Cyclone actually gets boxed in by the supply depot. Dark, so far, able to delay the base somewhat significantly, and GuMiho may never have the opportunity to retake it. If Dark holds the ramp like this, the Cyclone almost killed off by the Roach Ravager. Hellion over the top. One SCV is not going to be enough here. That command center, he just needs to cut the ribbon on it. But the ribbon, for now, will remain completely intact. As the Roach Ravager is now in the main, the Cyclone kiting all the way back. Another Cyclone pops out. Dark walks through his own corrosive bile to get there. He takes down one. SCV finally goes off. Banshee pops out. Corrosive bile, and Dark hits the SCV, but not the mule. He manages to kill 5 workers here. He delays the command center by an absolutely inordinate amount. Almost a minute, I think, on delay. And if that SCV had just been a little bit more diligent, a little bit more hardworking, I'm just saying, like, earn your pay. Hazard pay is extra, but, or else you're going to be replaced with automation. You're probably going to be anyways. But finish that command. Banshees. GuMiho doesn't want to risk the Banshees being caught on the other side of the map for another round of Roach Ravager coming in. Dark has been known to follow up his aggression with another helping of aggression. But this time around, it is indeed going to be a more measured macro follow-up. As GuMiho still playing a very careful game. And Dark has his third base. He's got... getting into the main and delaying the command center has given him quite a worker lead. But the Banshees, do they have cloak? They do not, which means the Queens are going to be able to have very angry conversations with them. And by that I mean shoot at them with their knitting needles. That should minimize the Banshee damage, though it will limit Dark's economy somewhat. And GuMiho does have a third base. He's building it on location. I like the boldness of that move. Balanced out with how conservative he was after the early Roach Ravager. As realizing with 2 Banshees on the field, it's very unlikely Dark's going to have anything that's able to challenge it now. The Cyclones, a Raven mixed in. The creep clearing committee. So far, the CCC, the Triple C, if you would. Something we don't see very often. Fun's completely unintended, but the knitting crew will have enough of that as they respread the creep. The Banshee's on the edge. I like GuMiho not committing too hard with the... If you lose a Banshee or 2, then suddenly another timing opens up. But for now, Dark has no options but to sit back and build up. or try some sort of queen all-in. Those 2 Banshees are likely enough to defend against everything but the most committed attacks. And behind it, we have 3 racks. Stim on the way. 1-1 in production for both sides. GuMiho with a slight lead on his infantry weapons and armor. Dark is opting for ranged attack. So, leaning on those roaches early on here. The Banshees going to disagree with Dark's idea of a 4th base timing. A bit of vengeance for the command center earlier, but Dark going to expand the other direction to the 6 o'clock after mining through that mineral wall. The CCC continues its way around. Banshees looking to clear. Infestation Pit in production. Really just narrowing down the options. But these Banshees and Raven, it's a lot to deal with for Dark here. And having less queens than he would have. Only 7 queens. That is a low number overall in this context. A lot of the time we'll see double digits if the Zerg is playing just an entirely defensive game. But for now, well, the creep continuing. The Banshees do find the new 4th base at the 6 o'clock, but the queens have had enough. It drops the auto turrets out in front of them. And just targeting the base itself, GuMiho actually forces the cancel, and the Triple C is victorious yet again. Dark trying to double expand, but GuMiho on top of it stims in the Marines. He forgot Combat Shield, or has significantly delayed it in order to further his tech. No, he definitely forgot it. Oh my god. All you Diamond Terrans out there who forget Combat Shield, which is approximately 30 to 40% of them, should feel somewhat validated right now. This is still a surprisingly common thing, even at this level. And there is no way it's not. Yeah, he starts it now. But 10 HP on those Marines is a bigger defensive upgrade than all 3 armor upgrades combined in almost every case. So it's kind of a big deal. Another base killed by the Triple C. And the Banshee Raven on its way home. It has the queens. Remember when... Brenda, remember when we could fly? Susan! Shut the fuck... Okay. Brenda, she hasn't been the same since the war. Alright, the Brood War was 13 years... It's still going on in her head. Alright? Just let it go. The Marines, now moving their way through the rocks. And it was 14 years ago, actually, I counted. Brenda. Oh my god. And once they have Combat Shield, going to be a real threat to pretty much everything that isn't lurkers and infestors. As GuMiho's army supply at 99 to just 83 of Dark, and Dark doesn't have a unit composition that deals particularly well. Combat Shield's still not done, 2-2 not done. Fungals, and oh no, GuMiho may have showed up to the party a little bit too early. And there were plenty already here, but Combat Shields does finish, and there wasn't enough stopping power in order to work through the entire Marine ball. So GuMiho going to continue forward. The Triple C is back. The Ravens and Banshees here to help out. GuMiho proving the Raven has real value, especially at this big game timing. He's been able to keep control of the creep, and Dark has been driven back. He does not have a great army composition for dealing with just straight-up Marine tank. GuMiho's taking a 4th command center behind. He's doing everything right. And at the moment, Dark, he's just going to have to hold. The Banshees, look at the creep spread. It's essentially non-existent. That's nothing for this stage of the game. With Hive Tech already done, you're usually looking at creep halfway, even more across the map. But Dark barely has it outside his own bases. As GuMiho continues to work his way across, he's got 2-2 finishing up. There's no reason not to lay on the aggression here. Obviously, you don't want to walk into the infestors, but he's going to have an upgrade advantage as the fight starts. Hydra's coming in from the north side. Marines just firing through. Viper a bit late to the party. And the Hydra flank looking good, but so far yanks another tank, and the Queen's starting to tie this all together. Blinding Cloud, a bit questionable, but the Hydras are starting to thin out here. The Marine count. Marines trading with Hydras is always good for the Terran, as long as he's able to keep his medevacs intact. Dark, I think, wins the fight, but we have to ask, at what cost? As he loses a whole bunch of Hydras. Queens, did he lose the Viper? No. Viper's still intact. And GuMiho is just continuing to rally Marines and Marauders across the map. He started is 3-3. The tanks will begin shelling, and half a dozen medevacs is more than enough to keep this going. The lurkers are absolutely required right now, as GuMiho is continuing to put together an army that's definitely going to win the war of attrition. The fact that Dark has been able to hold on this long is a testament to his tenacity. But the Terran army is a terrible thing to behold, and tenacity is not going to be enough in the face of all of this bio. Lurkers are done. Does he have... He has range and burrow speed. So he's got both at the moment. Which means GuMiho just now starting the Ghost Academy. Maybe a bit late on the draw there. Which means the Ghosts will not be out in time. Oh, and another army getting caught and killed as GuMiho trying to work his way in, but the Fungal is on the mark. And Dark just slices through the bio. He crushes it on the right and eviscerates it on the left. Or maybe the other way around. Either way, the end result is the same. And now Dark, he held on to all his bases and did it with ease. He didn't really lose any key units, maybe a few roaches and hydras. He's got lurkers on the field. He's got vipers intact. He's got plenty of drones. And now it's up to GuMiho to hold the next wave of attacks. But Dark has all the fixes. He has the Nidus. He has the lurkers. GuMiho's advantage, well, essentially will just be the upgrades momentarily, which is not nothing. But now that the lurker count has grown to such levels, it's not nearly as important as it was against the Roach Hydra. Another lurker taken out. Dark still a bit thin on the field here, and not even going to bother trying to reestablish. He's just going to hit GuMiho on both fronts. GuMiho forced back by the lurkers on the left. Zerglings overrunning a tank down the center. Ghosts are on the field. More lurkers on their way up. Takes out another medevac. Lurkers closing in on the fourth. Lurkers closing in on the third. Snipers lined up, but the bio comes back with the flank and he collapses and takes down Dark's army. But GuMiho is losing so much on the left side as the breadcrumbs of lurkers there are leading the SCVs into the corner. GuMiho still has to find a way to break this location, and the concave of the lurkers is looking very difficult here. The army is getting sliced up. The supply is getting cut down. 15 SCVs casualties alongside it. And Dark holds on and turns it around. He takes game number 1. A pretty solid turn. Well, Dark thrives in these chaotic scenarios. GuMiho had the advantage. Missing the combat shield at that key timing. He wasn't able to get as much of an advantage as he probably should have. And kind of an unforced error, though. The game started off definitely... Well, Dark will punch you in the face through a window of broken glass, or breaking the window, bloody his own hand. But as long as it messes up your day, he's perfectly happy with it. All right. It's much more... oh my god, he's doing it again. Yeah, I'll do it again. I mean... This time around, GuMiho is going for Reaper, which is a very important part of this. The Marines, he got nothing with those Marines. He killed an Overlord, but he had no scouting. He had no kind of preemptive warning before the Roaches were already halfway across the map. Now the Reaper should at least let GuMiho know that Dark is up to some form of shenanigans. That hatchery should have already been done. Yeah, well, the Roaches are going to pop out. And if that doesn't give it away, then GuMiho's playing blind. The Zerglings slip by a single Marine, but he's already brought another SCV down. Yeah, he'll get one. But that is much less delay than the previous game. So GuMiho has adapted. Dark. Gonna keep him honest with the Roaches. The Reaper is, well, pushing itself out of the way. The speed zone's gonna help things along. A cyclone begins. And so far, GuMiho should, with that bunker, have enough response here. Dark could go for Ravagers, but I have a sneaking suspicion. He's already building drones. Oh, the base! The SCV! No, not again! Deja vu. I've delayed this base before with my Roach Ravager, And I'm morphing here. Okay, that could have been better. But so could this whole roach all in. And, well, 1, not all in. 2, stop the false equivalence. Dark knows what he's doing. You, Winter, do not. And 2, or 3, you know what? I'm done counting. Speaking of 3, that's how many SCVs have now died trying to finish this command center. At some point, we need to just start building the command centers on the high ground against Dark, I think. Yeah. He's just building more Ravagers. That's one way to get full HP on the roaches again. He's back. Oh, GuMiho. Just gonna cancel all this. Wait, he's not building with any of them. GuMiho, finish the job. Big job, huh? No, right. Oh my. Well, Dark ends up losing a lot. That was how many Ravagers? He lost 2 Ravagers, a lot of the morphing Ravagers, but again, he manages to delay the command center by an unconscionable amount of time. All right. Typical construction project. We got 4 SCVs standing around, nobody finishing the command center. The Reaper managed to find something here, though. So GuMiho now has 3 command centers. Orbital in the main. Did he finish the main before the natural? Almost. He almost finished his 3rd before his 2nd, which I think still counts as his 3rd command center. We're not living on technicalities here. And the Overlord's going to be taken down by the Cyclones. Another one. Hunted. The Queens again. Will be forced, but there's no transfuse. And Dark is actually supply block. So even though GuMiho took a surprising amount of damage to the roaches, it just isn't as commanding of a situation here for Dark. Especially now that the Queens are being targeted. And another one goes down. And another Overlord. No energy. Oh, he missed the mark on it. A bit of a mistake, and now there's Zerglings in the main. Oh my god, no, it's a disaster! How does this keep happening? He just didn't raise the depot. He was too busy doing his fancy Cyclone micro. Oh no. And now the Cyclone's on the other side. He's not microing. He lost both. Dark, with a dozen Zerglings, does enough damage to counteract pretty much everything the Cyclones have done. He's still in a bit of a tough position economically, but without this run-by, GuMiho would have a clear shot to a solid and probably game-ending mid-game timing. But again, Dark reaches for his pocket sand, throws it directly into GuMiho's eyes, and here we are. And that makes it very difficult to raise the depot. So Dark finds the timing with the Zerglings as GuMiho is getting cute with his Cyclones. And now we got a game again. But this time around, Dark still in a tough position economically. Last game he had about a 20 worker lead, maybe 15 to 20. Now it's barely 5. And there's already 3 orbitals done with mules in production. Though he drops the mules right on top of the Zerglings, which is not optimal. He manages to keep one alive. But Dark has only just recently started a lair. He doesn't have... Well, does he? He does have a roach one. I was about to make a very dumb comment, but... he's getting Burrow. Is that intentional? I mean, Burrow Bane's definitely an option. Combat shield this time on the way. He's actually cutting off a lot of the Marines. Again, Dark's backstabs just continually shivving GuMiho as he expands. I love this too. Oh my god, he's just expanding everywhere. Just trying to buy as much time as possible. A bit disrespectful because he's assuming GuMiho will make a mistake and spend too much time trying to take out bases he doesn't need to. But so far, GuMiho has struggled to deal with even the Zergling counters. Dark has cut his drone count so low and made the Zerglings. And GuMiho keeps having to come back to deal with them. But at the same time, look at the upgrades. 1-1's already done for Gumi. He's getting an armory. He's got the workers. Once Dark... Oh, is that queen walled in by Evo Chamber? No, I think she can get out there, but... Yeah, very cozy. And the bunker! So much for the bunker! He gets a tank! You can't leave the door open. This isn't Canada. Forces a scan with the burrow. Dark just keeps... Is he really gonna force another scan? Just build a turret, GuMiho. Another Zergling counter! And they don't stop coming, and they don't stop coming. The Zerglings on their way in again. A scan for the Burrowedlings. He's actually just clicked on the command center. More legs into the natural. Dark is everywhere. Under and over. Well, actually not over in this case. No overlords. A lot of the overlords died. Wait, how is this overlord still here? Did he not kill it with the cyclone drop? I guess not. GuMiho keeps having to come back. But this is costing Dark potential drones, potential time. But I think that this last minute or so has really kind of tilted it back in his favor. As now Dark, he survived to get not 4, but 6 bases. And even if he loses 1, he's still going to have a 2-base lead. He's got the drone count to support the Zerglings, and he's got a hive on the way, and I think that's for Ultralisks. Alright, the Baneling's target fire is off the mark. Or there's just not enough of it. And Dark rolls in. And GuMiho again. Dark is kind of styling on him right now. GuMiho not able to perpetuate the advantage that he had from that confident early game. And Dark is just taking everything. Another set of Zerglings. GuMiho's learning. He's keeping them... Oh, come... I think he meant to burrow one of them. Dark's got Adrenal Glands and Ultralisk Cavern is on the way. Another medevac is cleaned up. A handful of Marines. Dark has +2 Carapace now. Now this is... the Lings and Banes are coming in. Widowmines are triggered across the board. All of them, indeed. And there's nothing to keep the wall here. He just burrows in his face. Oh, that is, disrespectful to say the least. But there's no detection there, so he does have to be... He's walled off his third with barracks. GuMiho is hard walling to keep Dark out. We'll see how long it lasts. He saw the burrow, right? I assume so. But now Dark... He's still only at 72 drones. A scan, he didn't. I don't think he realized. Or he doesn't care. Those Lings. Dark is continually clicking on him. He's waiting for his moment. A Widow Mine drop, though. The last time we'll see those mines without their fancy new red line. And very slightly less radius, which is almost unlimited. Well, we'll see. Alright, enjoy it while it lasts. I know what words I said, alright? I'm not taking them back. Ultralisk on the way. Chitin is plating. Dark is pretty broke, though. For all of this, he's spent a lot of Zerglings trying to get the damage done. Oh, more Widow Mines, more Siege Tanks. And again, oh, he just rolls in with the Banes. Making a lot of progress here. And killing a surprising amount. 20 SCVs. He got inside the house, behind the wall, and he guts the economy. And many of those units stuck on the wrong side of history. Widow Mines do terrible, terrible damage. The Zerglings break their way out of the base. The only mistake Dark made there was not burrowing a Ling in order to block the base from landing. But otherwise, Dark is now up to a 50 supply lead. He looks like he's trying to expand. Oh my god. He's trying to expand on GuMiho's side of the map now. Widow Mines will take massive bites out of these Zerglings, but the Zerglings will still be able to chew through the planetary, especially with the ultimate chewer here, which is the Ultralisk. Alright, we're workshopping that term and throwing it out very likely. But the Ultra, known for its massive blades, as it slices through everything. Parasitic Bomb. The Queen's trying to tie it together. The Ultra still chopping throughout all this. It has Kindness Plating. It has the upgrades. And Dark again drags it back. Now that one, oh god, that was a rough one. GuMiho had a much better position. I don't know how Dark is able to delay the bases that long. Alright. Those bases getting canceled more than StarCraft Ghost. Just over 3-4 SCVs, and then he brought 4 SCVs down, and then he still wasn't building. Come on. Let's get the ball rolling on that. But Dark off to a confident and commanding 2-0 lead against the Admiral here, who may be demoted if this continues. So, we go into Golden Aura, which there is a gold base, but it is one of the hardest ones for Dark to take. That's not ruling it out, it's just pointing it out. GuMiho's gonna opt for the Reapers. He is on the good side of the map where the add-ons are not exposed. I think most players think that's the good side of the map. It really depends on which side you're on of that argument. Want to watch me do it again? Well, on the downside here, this is actually a soft counter to exactly what Dark is doing. The Reapers are only okay against roaches, but against a gasless Zergling timing, Dark again Zerg rushing. This actually pans out real well for GuMiho. There's no way, asterisk, that those Zerglings get in and delay the command center. GuMiho will be finishing his second command center in time, but Dark is just gonna go 3 hatch. Because of course he is. 3 hatch, no gas against Reapers. So this is kind of a reverse of the oh my god, Citizen's Arrest, but the Reaper slips through. Oh, they butter up those Reapers. Beforehand. He tried to get the kill. The Queen, target fire, the grenade, but the Reaper is dead. So is the drone, but an acceptable sacrifice. Another dramatic start with... We're all over the place today. The Dark going for the 3 hatch no gas against GuMiho with the 2 racks 3cc. The Queen's slowly but surely coming down to defend the 3rd. GuMiho's 3rd, beginning now. Factory is halfway done for Gumi. So, Stim is on the way too. Looks like he's gonna follow up with that Marine. No mech at all so far from GuMiho. So the Marines have not gotten the job done for him. Dark just knows how to pick them apart, literally and figuratively. Though, I think being able to finish your first 3 command centers without shenanigans already being afoot is going to be very helpful for GuMiho, especially just mentally, as Dark has been quite literally in his base, messing with his SCVs. And that is never good emotionally. Unless you're into that, but not so great economically. Check out my Dronely fan. Queens, drones. Still no gas for Dark. Gonna be no gas for almost 5 minutes. And he'll just be starting the mining of it then. The Reaper is trying to fight. Get a creep tuber, but loses a Reaper? Not sure about that one. The Marines are coming across. Medevac's on the way, just trying to stay at the edge of the creep here. Stim is nearly completed. The army for Dark is 7 Queens and 6 Zerglings. And no upgrades, no speed, no nothing. As obviously, with no gas, you have no options. Queens, though, can hold their own, as long as there's 2 medevacs, or I'd say 2 medevacs is about the limit of Marines. Especially if they don't have combat shield or upgrades. You can get the job done there. It's just not easy. Layers on the way. Still no Zergling speed. Oh, there it is. Out of Dark. So he's going to be entirely reliant on the Queens here. He actually sees the medevacs. on the very edge of the creep. The grenades. Oh, Brenda bounces across the board. Gonna try to target the 4th base. I don't think it's gonna happen. Heads to the main. All right, ladies, back to the main. Yes, we're gonna probably do this like 3 or 4 times, so get used to it. The slowlings fighting here may actually kill a Marine or 2. Not quite. The grenades bounce the queens back. Yep, here we go again. And GuMiho rotates around towards the 4th base, which the queens, they'll make their way down as well. May have to use some of that transfuse energy. Another bounce. The Marines actually stimming forward. Gonna take a few extra hits here. And enough Marines have finally died that GuMiho will be forced back for now. His queen-only defense is successful. Dark now 67 drones. He's got 1-1 on the way, but GuMiho not gonna sit back. He knows the advantage he has is tech. As Dark just finished Zergling speed, so Dark with his 5th base almost done will finish Zergling speed. GuMiho rotating around for an attack to the north side. That base is already softened up. GuMiho starting to target it. Gonna need some transfuses there. Holding onto it, I think trying to bait him in. The Zerglings around the back. The positioning, well, he's gonna get a beautiful grenade, but he is gonna get one of the medevacs. And the queens are holding everything together. That base is looking a bit conspicuously low here. But another base is already done for Dark, who has Hive on the way. GuMiho not slouching. He's got his Octo Racks in production. 2-2 has begun. He's going to have a full minute advantage on these upgrades. Still making use of the grenades, though maybe getting a little fancy and leaving some of his units behind. Another attack lining up for the left side. Pretty bare bones, but there's nothing there to defend. And Dark is still expanding yet again. Really embracing the Zerg mindset. I don't think there's a more Zerg than Dark. All right, Cyril might be Zerg's accountant, but Dark, on the other hand, is who we put on the portraits. The poster. All right. Hive, 2 hatcheries. Wait, where's the second? Oh, macro hatch. Burrow, Overlord speed, but GuMiho maintains a solid army supply. He's got 83 to 68, and he's going to have the 2-2 upgrade advantage. The queens can no longer really go toe-to-toe, no matter how many toes they have, which is significantly more than the Marines, technically. Even, well, I guess if each leg only has 1 toe. Once again, for OnlyFans, like and subscribe. The Lings don't get in! The Marines on the high ground. It looks like Dark is going to lose the base at the 9 o'clock. The Banelings are rolling in, but the Lings are into the natural. 4 drones down alongside the base. There's not that many Lings left over. He manages to burrow. Will force a scan or 2. Gets them all with 1. So Dark, not able to get a lot of counter damage, but he's at 86 drones. He's got a Hive done. He's got an Ultralisk Cavern in production. This tank push still threatening the left flank. But Dark has most of the rest of his side of the map. The Lings and Banes are coming in. Splits the Banes at the last moment. But GuMiho doesn't actually get a good target fire off, but the Banelings are heading every direction at the moment. And Dark ends up losing a lot of them. He actually jams the tanks literally in the trees here. Behind the mineral line, that's going to be immensely difficult to deal with. But the Marines themselves are kind of getting caught. The Banelings, he moves back with a lot of the units and lets the siege tanks do most of the work for him. One of the tanks is taken out, but more Marines to the north side. More Banelings for Dark. But this Marine attack is going to be going right through them. The Banelings gunned down before they can even close the distance, and another base will be taken out. The northern base. The Queens. Brenda, the tank's still that we gotta deal with the tank. More Banelings being targeted by GuMiho. Point blank range, and the upgrades aren't there. GuMiho is tearing through the Evo chambers. More Banelings gunned down before they can see the light of day. The Queens assassinated. The tank is still down there, and everything is denied. GuMiho is all over Dark like butter on a biscuit, and right now, it looks like GuMiho has managed to fight his way back. Adrenal glands is done for the half a dozen lings who survived, but the Marines will finish them off sooner rather than later. An Ultra pops out, preemptively surrounded. Dark will survive, but at what cost? He doesn't have chitinous plating. He doesn't have that +2 armor that gives you... Oh my god, the tank. The hero tank. How many? 43 kills. I don't know how many of those were Marines. I don't think they count. GG! He taps it out. GuMiho takes one back. Well, now we got a series. Dark this time, he tried to mind game it. He faked out the roaches with the early lings, but GuMiho shut him down with the 2 Rex, walling off the natural. The mind games backed fire. Backed fire. Yeah, yeah. I think I've said everything that needs to be said. I don't trust myself to say anymore. So that brings us back to the old classic. Like and subscribe. We're going to game 4. Jimmy. GuMiho strikes back. And Dark. Is he going? He's once again. Pool first. Here we go. He just keeps going pool first. This time around, he does have gas to follow it up. He's dodging the first Reaper. The command center is on the low ground. Will Dark be able to get a cancel? The Reaper's gonna come in. Zergling speed is on the way. There's the SCV. Here we go. No! Oh, well, actually, it looks bad. But the workers called into action. This time around, they've had enough. All right, Zerg. Shotgun. You. I got a Zerg and a shotgun. And I'm bringing them home to you. GuMiho deals with it. He loses 0 SCVs. He kills all 6 lings. A perfect defense. And again, Dark tried to get fancy. He tried to get cute. And GuMiho got him an education. Some solid defense. The confidence pulling those SCVs. Dark... It was really truly a I'm not locked in here with you situation. And GuMiho takes out the first Overlord, actually supply blocking Dark. So definitely not an ideal start for the final boss. I think this is another definite... Well, this is another reason why he's called the final boss, though. There are so many phases to facing him. It's not that he's always dangerous, but it's always dramatic. And going for the same pool first into several different things every game. Well, that's why even though about half the replays that we receive every week involve Dark, it's still worth watching most of them. Because this single player has more variety in his gameplay than the next dozen Zergs combined. Okay, maybe that's being a bit unfair. To Dark. 2 dozen Zergs. Alright, take it or leave it. GuMiho with the scouting Hellion. But again, I think this position... Does he have a 3rd command center? Yes. Okay. I think, again, GuMiho has handled it. And even though Dark has a few more workers, the big issue is the tech and the infrastructure, which Dark just now getting his 3rd. He's not going to have that many queens, as he was delayed somewhat in his hatcheries. He's getting a lair, but the Evo chambers are going to be harder to come by. So, again, GuMiho should have a solid economy, plenty of production, and quicker upgrades, which is not a victory in and of itself, as we've already seen, but it certainly helps. Oh my god. Hellion playing hard to get. Leading the Zerglings all around. Will force him. Take us so much time to chase him down. Dark does not have... I think he's going Spire. Yeah, he's getting 2 more gases as the layer's on the way. But there's no detection. GuMiho... And there's no... Oh, he didn't even build spores. GuMiho held on to 2 Banshees. And now finally reveals them. And Dark had nothing. The Spore Crawler's coming up. And even though he only kills 4 drones, 5 drones, this has slowed Dark down so much. All those drones not mining. Our 4th base, oh, a bit dicey here. The Banshees slip away just barely. Losing both those Banshees would make it a lot easier here for Dark. But both of them escape. Still, though, the upgrades heavily in favor of GuMiho. Dark hasn't even finished his Evo chambers. Whereas GuMiho is 2/3 of the way through 1-1. Lost One Carapace is the first choice. Baneling speed on the way. But GuMiho, it's going to be his initiative as we get into the mid-game. As those medevacs come out, GuMiho is a solidly held 3rd base. He has plenty of army supply. And those medevacs are going to be the makings of whatever sort of push that GuMiho wants. I imagine working on the 4th base. Dark has a lot of creep, and he's starting to spread it out now. Definitely something that can help you sneak back into it. GuMiho comfortably building up his 3rd. Starting to wall off those choke points in between the mineral lines. Don't want the Zerglings slipping through like floss between your teeth. Not sure if I love that thought process. Moving on. It's been a weird day, hasn't it? Don't answer that. That's rhetorical. No. Zerglings looking to chase down the Marines, but the creep is all he wants for now. Another medevac headed north. Set of medevacs, that is. The hot hiccup. They'll expect one of us in the wreckage from them. Oh wait, no. Those were Banshees. I knew there were 2 flying units on the map. Combat shield. A bit late again for GuMiho. If there is one major issue, it's definitely going to be that. As without that combat shield, there's still quite an opportunity for Dark to collapse on the army. The tank's forced to siege up. Dark is keeping GuMiho at bay here. Infestation pit on the way. Dark with 77 drones has enough economy to be able to refill this army as long as he takes a good enough trade. It doesn't have to be great, just good enough. Hydra slithering along. Banshees chased down, but not quite taken out. That base of the north side softened up significantly by the Banshees. Combat shield 20 seconds out. 2-2, closer to a minute. And this would be the ideal time, though Dark can't know that with the combat shield. Ideally, he doesn't want to let him know about it. Oh, the cloaked Banshees will find some Hydras. They may take out the base. Dark has a lot of supply here. GuMiho, I'm sure, is happy to wait for his 2-2 if he needs to. Combat shield done. Melee attack should be the trigger. Down goes one Banshee. Reinforcements are coming across, though. GuMiho has 79 Marines on the field. Dark doesn't have that many. Oh, there's no detection. The Banshee's still going. It has even got. It's only gotten 4 kills, but the amount of attention it's just dragged away. One of the most valuable resources in StarCraft 2. And now GuMiho's done with 2-2, so there's no reason. He's maxed out. He's got full 3-base saturation. There's no reason to let Dark sit back and build lurkers. I don't think he's going to make that mistake again. Dark with a massive counterattack. Decides to split off just some of it. Gonna try to overrun. Loses the base to the north. He's got a base under fire. Big counterattack into the 3rd. GuMiho attacking the 4th base of Dark. And will take it out. So Dark down to 3 bases. GuMiho still maintaining his. Dark forced to fall back again. And he's running out of options. The hive is about to complete. That is the next stage, if he's able to survive. But that's looking less and less likely. The Baneling's rolling in. The SCV's trapped in a prison of its own design. Massive Baneling counter. A huge risk for significant reward. And in fact, so many Banelings, he just rolls out with the rest. Not willing to spend them quite yet. There's not even enough targets. GuMiho down to 50 SCVs. He's almost it looks like they got cleaned up. He's almost all in on 3 bases. He doesn't have a Ghost Academy. He doesn't have like a bunch of Liberators or anything like that. It's just Marines and tanks. Vipers on the way for Dark. If he's able to get Vipers online, well then it's a whole new ball game. Here come the Lings. From the back, the tanks getting a big bite out of the Banelings. And the splits are textbook from GuMiho. More than enough Marines survive, and Dark taps it out. He was being attacked from the north side as well. He tries to break the army, but GuMiho holds on. And that brings us to the decider, which I have no idea what to expect from match number 5, as Dark has done a pool first every single game. Works 2 games in a row, fails pretty dramatically 2 games in a row. What would you do? Game 5? Stick to the script? Place your bets. Jimmy. Dark, hatch first. He goes back to basics. GuMiho with a standard 1 Rax expand. This is going to be weird. This is going to be at least a standard opener. For the first few minutes, it could swerve at any time. There are a lot of off-ramps for both sides. The big ones are roaches, and then a quick lair for Zerg. And then things like Battlecruiser, or multiple factories for Terran. Occasionally you'll get someone, mostly Beyond, who doesn't go with the 3cc, though that is exceedingly rare. Reaper, dancing around, being the annoying self it is. And... but the Queen, with no respect, knows that the Reaper took so much damage, you can't challenge the Creep Tumor. 3rd CC and 3rd hatch on the way. We got a bit of a macro game on our hands. The Queen. Dun 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 dun! GuMiho! Alright, well. Oh, GuMiho. I don't know how I feel about this. Did you know that barracks fly faster than overlords without speed? I guess one of them has rocket engines, and one of them is full of hot air. I'm just assuming it's hot. I bet it's nice and warm in there. Moving on. Like a sauna. No, not like a sauna. Like a steam room. No, not like that. Why am I still going? I ask myself every day. Like a combination of the two. Like flubber. That's maybe a bit dated even for me. Also, not really related. 3 CCs. Cloak Banshee. I think a smart choice against Dark. The Banshees have definitely paid off in this series so far. Win or lose. They are the last and first line of defense sometimes, both aggressively and defensively. In the case of the last game, keeping Dark so busy he could not get his economy together in time to deal with the follow-up pushes, and just continually harassing the 4th base, They can't. Even if they don't kill the base, they do so much damage that the follow-up attack has a lot of success. So, GuMiho is not committed to mech or bio yet. He's still got a bit of a bio-curious opener. But there's the second factory. All right, he's gonna mech it happen in game number 5. He pulls out the big mech plays. He did float the racks, which is sometimes a tell, but you could still easily have more barracks in your melee. It's not a decisive one at all. So I don't think Dark is relying on that to tell him one way or another. But he's got plenty of drones. He's got a roach warren. He's got a lair. He's got double Evo. I'm kind of excited to see the new mech plays in the new patch, which pretty much the next series you see between these two will be on the new patch, where the armory is 50 gas cheaper. Though the Cyclones are, I think, in most ways nerfed. A little more HP, a lot, not a lot, but somewhat less DPS. And the scaling with upgrades was toned down from the original PTR. But that's another clickbait for another day. I'm sure you'll see it. But 2 hatches on the way. Dark splitting is options, and I'm gonna really just focus on defending whichever one is safer. The Hellions, the Banshees just flying right on by. Again! He held on to the Banshees so long. They became good again. It's one of those, like, it's so late, it's early. And the Banshees come in, and we'll be doing terrible, terrible damage to the drone. Where's the Overseer? It's going the wrong direction. Dark getting bamboozled. The Admiral charting a course to success here with the Banshees. Kills 8 drones, and he forces everything else to scramble. The one is out of energy, so it makes it a little difficult. The Hellions are coming in. Is there anything to defend? They could probably just dart in here. Thing is, this all happened when Dark already had a pretty great economy, so it's not devastating. It isn't, but it isn't a game-ending issue or really a decisive timing, unlike the previous game. But it certainly buys enough space for GuMiho to get his 3rd up, start his 4th, get the hardest part of mech is safely getting your infrastructure up, getting all those 2 infestation pits for Dark, so we can research neural parasite and wait, that doesn't work. One's a decoy. Not a big mistake, but a mistake. I think he canceled one, or did he finish it? He finished it. Okay. But the back. Oh, now we can't. Okay. All right. Where were we? Where was correct. The hardest part of mech is getting the factories up safely. Okay, and then the second hardest part is the ultra late game. But those are the 2 big weaknesses. But once you have the factories up, you can build these incredibly strong mech units that require a decisive response out of Zerg, especially compared to just like Marines. Whereas, and with the Banshees, essentially GuMiho has removed any opportunity for Dark to put the pressure on. So that means GuMiho will get 3, 4, going on 5 command centers here, and Dark doesn't even have a hive yet. So there's a solid Hell Clone timing. He's gonna have +1 mech weapons. Dark isn't slouchy in the upgrades. He's already got one done. Though the Raven with anti-armor missile could negate most of that. 10 Hydras on the way. That hive is about to complete. Vipers are absolutely critical here, and becoming more so. GuMiho scans and sees the hive on the way, which is very important. He knows he's going to have to contend with it. 3 Vipers, a Lurker Den, and a Nidus network tells you the entire story here of where Dark wants to go with this. Hydra speed on the way. Blue Flame, +2 mech weapons, and +1 armor. The Hell Clone's still sharking around. And you can really, this is a Game 5 feel indeed. As they both, instead of beating each other to a pulp in the first 5 to 8 minutes, essentially nothing has happened. Yeah, if you ask the Zerg, they won't say the same. But GuMiho has lost a grand total of 1 SCV and 1 Hellion, though he's managed to do pretty significantly more damage. Dark is lining up for a Lurker Nidus, but GuMiho has a strong mech push coming in. He's not quite maxed out. He's got a fusion core and 3 more starports on the way. And in fact, I think he's angling towards battle cruisers. Though he has to contend with the Nidus first, but the Banshees come in to save the day. Likely, battle cruisers will be the choice, but we're gonna find out. I don't think you build 3 starports for Liberators. We will see. And yanks in another tank anti-armor missile, but he's gonna yank in some of the clones here. Just gets whatever he can. There's no ghost to contend with this. And he hasn't slapped any at. He's slapping Tech Labs. He doesn't really have the gas quite yet, but 4 going on. Yamato Cannon is on the way, and GuMiho's savior will either be the battle cruisers or dying trying. As GuMiho in Game 5 will reach for the fusion core, whereas Dark has Mass Lurker here, which is not known for its strength against battlecruisers. But the thing about battlecruisers is you do have to build them, which is quite an expense. And right now, it's unclear whether GuMiho will be able to actually afford it. And yanks in the tanks. Dark, a tactical Nidus to reinforce his push. The Lurkers are here. Mass Viking, but the Lurkers are easily in range of the planetary and are already slicing through. Oh, losing a lot to the siege tanks, though. GuMiho holds strong. He will deny the base. He'll kill several queens in the process and starts 2 battle cruisers. It's such a big reach for this stage of the game. I said mech was the hardest part was getting there. Well, battle cruisers are an order of magnitude further. But he's been going for the plating upgrades. He's making 11 Hellions at a time. The Banshees. There is a greater Spire on the way, but I think this is such a long and dramatic reach that Dark is not going to be expecting it. And in fact, right now, Dark doesn't have that much in the bank. Yes, he has slightly more than GuMiho here, but he is already heavily invested in this Hydra Lurker composition. He's losing a lot of the Hydras. I wonder if it's going to start to become suspicious how many Hellions are on the field and how little else. But GuMiho is waiting for the big jump. I don't think you start using the battlecruisers till you have as many as you can. There are 10 Corruptors on the way, but he's angling towards the Broodlords. Flyer attacks in production. Another tactical Nidus being used by Dark. Ooh, Hellions being pin-cushioned. Some Hellbats kind of showing up a bit late. Vehicle plating level 2. 3-2 is on the way. But no ship... Well, ship weapons are starting now for GuMiho. Though the Yamato cannons are probably the key point. Another Nidus. Tactical Nidus off to the left flank. And GuMiho's done such a great job of hiding the cruisers. He's going to have 6 of them. There are 10 Corruptors on the field. He's building 6 Broodlords. He's holding on to his ace card here. The Admiral is looking to win this entire series with the big battlecruiser reveal. And right now, Dark's anti-air is limited to a couple dozen Hydras and a handful of Corruptors. In fact, he just morphed every single Corruptor into Broodlords. Oh, it might.
Research complete.
That was the plating upgrade there. Oh, GuMiho. This is lining up to be the most dramatic either failure or success, because he's still holding. He still has the Viking count. Does he just jump? The battlecruisers are revealed. He's showing them now. Are there going to be enough Hydras? He's just trading. Back at home, Dark is halfway across the map. He has nothing at home to defend. In fact, he's pretty much maxed out, so he can't really deal with the cruisers. Yamato cannons online. The siege tanks are shelling the Hydras. There's no anti-air except for the Hydras. The Vikings all over it. The Broodlords will be decimated. The battlecruisers are strafing through the rest of the base. Dark is in full retreat. The Nidus might be used to escape. The Hydras are trying to stutter step against Vikings. The Vipers don't know where they want to go. There's still tactical jump online. The battlecruisers hit by parasitic bomb, and they shrug it off with ease. More battlecruisers take out another base. More battlecruisers in production. Dark has nothing in the bank. 14 corruptors in production, but far too little. And absolutely too late. He yanks a cruiser in. One for the road. Another one. Okay, needs to jump away. Finally does. But a decisive victory for GuMiho. He got the damage done. Over the last minute, he's destroyed 4,000 more minerals and almost 3 times as much gas. 2,000 more in this case. An entire gas geyser full. He just has to survive the corruptors, which actually a bit of a dicey scenario. But lines up the Yamatos. Actually, he has the upgrades. He's just gonna go for it. Dark thought he caught him, but again, you're not locked in here with me, Dark. The Cyclones come up. The Corruptor's actually quite good against the battlecruisers, but the Cyclones to save the day. And Dark is plummeting in supply. GuMiho breaks out the mech in Game 5, and right now it's looking like a reverse sweep. As this is not... You need to be ready for the battlecruisers before they show up on your doorstep, because by that point, you've already lost most of your house. The Lurker counterattack is good. He's gonna break through this, like, forward operating base here. But the mass battlecruisers... There's 6 on the field, more in production. Dark scrambling for Hydras, not a single infester. Though I don't know if Neural Parasite would be enough at this stage, and Fungal. Well, the options are not particularly great. There's nothing to keep them from jumping away. The Corruptors will chase down 1 or 2. Gonna target down another, but it gets the Yamato. A parting shot, and GuMiho, the Admiral, banks it through. I wasn't sure if it'd be enough, but he held it so well. And Dark was so ready with the Broodlord switch. He was completely bamboozled by GuMiho's battlecruiser reveal. It's been so long. GuMiho waited the entire series, not only for battlecruisers, but to play mech at all. But he breaks it out again and earns a 3-2 victory after a very difficult start, I might add, against those early Roach all-ins. But Dark, the final boss, defeated by the Admiral, who earns his stripes or stars or whatever they give to Admirals. But hopefully you'll give me a like and subscribe if you enjoyed and it made your day a little bit better. If you got the means and motivation, it'd be awesome to check out Patreon. If you haven't yet seen the second channel, by the way, if you want more, just in general, Winter Gaming TV, you can check out stream VODs, more gameplay of all sorts of games. But if you're looking for more casts, it'd be awesome to check out Recommended. Or down there, I think. That's what YouTube recommends. I recommend to you the recommended. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Good luck, have fun. Stay chill.